Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Rachel and I am knitting. Not right now, but most of the time. And I have been knitting, so I'm going to tell you all about it. Today's video is episode 30 of my weekly podcast series, which I guess is important. Feels like a milestone number. So congratulations to all of us for making it to episode 30. I hope that you've been enjoying it as much as I have. If you're new here, I have a weekly podcast series where I talk all about my projects that I've worked on over the course of the last week. Mostly so far that's been knitting and spinning related, but it may expand as the podcast continues. So if that sounds interesting, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss episode 31, 32, etc. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get started and jump right into the project updates section of the podcast. I have 4 projects to update you on, and some of them are done, some of them are new. So let's just get started with the four things to tell you about. The first thing is I got a few rows in on my Seaglass sweater. I've been mentioning this on the podcast regularly lately. Every week I have something more to say, something new to tell you. And this week is not really that exciting. I just got a few rows in. So I'm really not making fast work of this, but I am working on it every week, or at least I have been the last few weeks. Maybe that will change this week. Maybe it will just be on the back burner. I don't know. It's kind of not scratching my brain as much as it was when I first revisited it. But you can see I'm just an inch or so past sleeve separation. So really I think I knit maybe two rows over the course of this last week. So that is not a lot of progress, but it still is some progress, so it bears mentioning, or it's worth mentioning. Yeah, I don't know. When I look at this, sometimes I'm electrified and I'm just like, wow, this is amazing, this is beautiful. I can't believe that I'm making this with my hands. But when I look at this right now, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's pretty, it's nice. It's a labor of love, but it's not like igniting me. And I think maybe that I'm being a little unfair to the Seaglass because honestly, I just feel that way in general today. I feel very overwhelmed. I feel anxious. I feel stressed out just because I have a massive to-do list. And I don't know. I knew that if I didn't film the podcast that it would stress me out more because I would feel like I was just kicking a bucket down the road and I want to check things off my to-do list. So anyway, all that to say, the Seaglass is not really like invigorating me when I look at it, but I don't think that's because it's the Seaglass. I think it's just because that's my outlook today. That's the mood I'm in today. So hopefully tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be in a different mood, but I might not, and that's okay. So anyway, that's the update on the Seaglass. The next project I have to update you on is, whoops, I dropped my cake of yarn. That's not actually for the project I'm showing you now, so you'll just have to wait to see what cake I dropped. Okay, I'll show you. It's this. It's a cake of carpet, and I'll talk to you about a project shortly. Okay, so the second project is one that I also mentioned last week, and it was my on-the-go project that I cast on, and I've since cast it off. I finished this. This is the Sacred Sheep Hat by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks, and I made this for my husband, DJ. So I dug this out of his little plastic storage bag that I have him keep the knits I've made him in to show you on the podcast, and I'll return it to from whence it came after I'm done filming the podcast. But here's a Sacred Sheep Hat. This is the 3rd Sacred Sheep Hat I've made. It's a really interesting pattern because it's written for 3 different weights of yarn. You can knit this pattern in fingering weight, DK weight, or worsted weight. I chose worsted weight and I knitted up in 3 different colors of Cascade 220. Non-superwash. So the Cascade 220 that comes in hank form instead of ball form. That's the non-superwash version. And I just had these laying around in my stash. So I'm very pleased to have them be a Sacred Sheep hat now. This color, this green color, is called Ireland, and the white is just a natural color, and the black is just black. I did leave a mistake on this hat, as you can see right here. These two stitches here are not supposed to be white. You can see the correct version on these portions of the crown on either side. But yeah, right here is not supposed to be white. And in fact, I noticed this mistake a few rows after I made it, when it would have been in the realm of possibility to either frog back or tink back or ladder down and fix it. And I made the conscious choice not to fix it because I thought, wow, this will be a good exercise in chilling out. This will be a good exercise in, you know, being calm, cool, and collected, forcing myself to accept an annoyance and just be chill about it. It's not working. I'm not chill about this. And I posted this on Instagram and pointed this out. And a lot of people responded to my story where I posted it and said, oh, you can just duplicate stitch over it. And that's absolutely correct. I could do that. But DJ said he doesn't mind it. He likes it. I don't know if he's lying or not. And just being sweet to me to say, oh no, you don't have to fix it, honey. So DJ, if you're watching this, you can fess up. You can tell me if it bothers you and I will fix it. But if you really don't mind, I'll just leave it and I can continue practicing being chill. Yeah. Also, now that I'm looking at this more closely, this pattern is kind of a big yikes because look at this. This colorwork motif right in the middle of this zigzag, or like right in the crease of this chevron, is the beginning of round. So you can see like right here it's very prominent, whereas this is where it looks like on all of the other portions around the hat. But on this beginning of round one, it's just kind of like disjointed and just kind of not as, I don't know, sweet and pretty as the other ones. Oh, that's funny. I didn't notice that on the other ones I've made before. So this mistake here just kind of fits right in next to the beginning of round. It can be worn in the back of the head, so it's not really, I don't know, the person wearing it won't see it. Other people could, but whatever. But yeah, this is my Sacred Sheep hat for DJ. This is a really, really fun pattern. If you're thinking about getting into color work, I think starting with worsted weight is a great way to start. So I often recommend the Throwback Sweater or the Throwover Sweater by Andrea Mowry as a good intro to color work because it's a worsted weight cardigan or pullover depending on which of the patterns you make. But this, if you make the worsted weight hat, would also be a really good introduction. It's a little bit more color work. I mean, comparative, like the yoke of a sweater versus a hat. But this, once you get past the brim, is color work on every row up until the crown shaping. So if you want to try color work, consider this hat in the worsted weight option. And there's not a lot of direction on the brim. But since I have made some Oslo hats in my time, I did the same thing that I did on my previous Sacred Sheep hats, and I basically did a provisional cast on, did 1x1 rib for a while, and then knit the provisional cast on with the live stitches, then knit a few rows, and then did a German short row turn, like in the Oslo hat, to make it so it stands up a bit, and there's the hat. So a finished object from last week, a hat for DJ. The third project that I have to update you on is also a hat for DJ, and it's also a hat that I had hopes of it becoming an FO over the course of the week, but I'm so sorry to tell you it's still a work in progress. It's still a whip because I ran out of main color a few rows into the crown decreases. Now in the pattern, this is the Oliver's hat, which I purchased from Jamieson and Smith, Shetland Wool Brokers. You only need one skein of each color, including the main color, but I think my gauge must be off, or you know, it always is. So anyway, I'm very close to having this be a finished object, but not close enough. I did order a new skein of the main color of this green from the Woolly Thistle. I didn't want to pay shipping for one skein of yarn all the way from Shetland. So I ordered from a US, or I think they're US based local yarn store. And even though I think my gauge is off, I think that this will still be an okay hat. It looks kind of silly now. But anyway, here's my progress on the hat. I am hoping that the crown decreases really cinch it up, and this is a nice fitted hat for DJ. I have to say, I'm very proud of myself with this hat and with this work in progress. Okay, let me be really careful here and put these needles back on hold because I don't want to lose any stitches on this very meticulously knit hat. So as I'm putting this back on, I'll tell you that I've mentioned in a previous podcast that this is a project that I can't really knit on when I'm around other people. I just need to be alone and not have a lot of, input sounds and conversations and whatever. And so that made it so this was never worked on. And so then over the course of this weekend, I thought that this is just not going to fly. This is a project that I could realistically finish over the weekend. So I'm just going to deal with it. I'm going to do what I need to do to be able to knit this while DJ is home and we're spending time together. And that's what I did. I knit on this while we were watching the football game, while we were watching the Miami game this weekend, which was just nuts. I'm new to football and, watching football and appreciating football. So I don't understand all of the rules to a T, nor do I understand all of the nuance to a T, but DJ explains it to me and I remain very interested. But the Miami game, it was incredible. Like we thought we won, and then we thought we lost, and then we won. It was incredible. So anyway, my husband is a Miami fan, the Miami Hurricanes football team. So this hat is in Miami colors, green for the main color, and then a series of oranges and a fawn. So it's not a bright white. I told you a few weeks ago when I was working on this that originally I did try to use in the optic white color in place of this fawn, and it was just way too stark. So I'm very happy that I had the fawn in my stash from that trip to Shetland, and it's just looking really good. I've been knitting this entirely on the knitting belt that I got at the Jeanette Budge workshop during the Shetland trip, and I don't know, it's just so hard to tell if your tension is good with your floats while it's on the needles, but I think that it's okay. I mean, there were a few rows with floats that were like 11 stitches long and I didn't catch them. I just didn't want to. I don't know, so I didn't. And I've heard of people doing that, like with 17-inch floats. So I figured, why not take a walk on the wild side? I could be wild. I'll be wild. So anyway, I haven't caught any of my floats on this hat, so really time will tell to see if that was the biggest mistake in the world or not. But I was telling DJ that I want to have a knitting belt project on my needles just constantly, I think. I want to keep building this skill. It's it's a different experience, not only to use double pointed knitting needles, but to use them in conjunction with a knitting belt. The learning curve is steep, but I'm enjoying it, and I will soon have an FO to show you from this experience. So there's the update on my Miami Oliver's hat, which brings me to my fourth and final project to update you on, which is a new cast on using carpet. So I have cast on a field day sweater. Okay, so actually, let me tell you more. So when I ran out of the main color on this one, I was like, okay, since I'm not going to be able to finish this over the weekend, there's no way that I'm going to reduce my Ravelry work in progress projects to one line on the mobile view. If you've been here, for whatever reason, that's the bee in my bonnet lately. I only want 4 active projects. So I currently have 4. my Miami's Oliver hat, my Seaglass Sweater, my Straya, and a ranunculus that I'm working on. So that's 4 right there. So I thought if I finished this over the weekend, I'd clear off one of those slots and I could cast something on. Well, since I ran out of main color, that dream died. And so I thought, okay, you know what, whatever. I'm just going to do what I want anyway, and I cast on the field day. This is going to be for DJ. I have so many skeins of carpet from the cabin collection. This is a collaborative collection that I did with Cesium Yarn last year, and I just got a lot of carpet skeins because it was my favorite of the whole collection. The carpet colorway is so special to me. Inspired by the carpet of our family cabin, carpet that was installed in the 80s, so before I was born. For me, it's been there my whole life. It's industrial carpet, so it's stood the test of time. It's full of sand, I'm sure, if you shook it out. Anyway, we love the carpet. So I love carpet yarn, and I love DJ, so I'm making him a sweater. This will be the first sweater that I've made him. So, you know, say what you will about the sweater curse, but finally making DJ a sweater. I've made him many hats over the years, socks, a pair of mittens, but now the time has come to make him a sweater. I've had him try on my field day that I made in the Rory colorway from Treehouse Knits. I made that earlier this year, and it fits him great, but there's some modifications that I need to make. Like, I'm not going to taper the sleeves as much for him, and I'm going to add short rows to the back at the bottom so it hangs evenly, because he needs more fabric to cover his shoulders because his shoulders are broader than mine, but I don't want to mess with the slope of the shoulder because that fit him really well. So I'll be making those modifications to this pattern. Fingers crossed, butts clenched that it all goes according to plan. But I'm just working on the back panel right now, and it was great TV knitting. I worked on this yesterday while we watched Monsters on Netflix. Super cheery, awful, horrific show. And that's the 4th project I have to update you on. Like I said, I'm like, I don't know, I feel a little bit more invigorated. Like, talking about the Miami's hat, or the Miami Oliver's hat, really invigorated me. I'm really excited and proud of this. So maybe that, I don't know, lit the candle in my heart that was snuffed out when I was talking about the sea glass. But I'm really also, I just want to say, even though I'm stressed and anxious, I am finding a lot of comfort in my knitting. I'm finding a lot of solace in my knitting because, I don't know, I don't know if this happens to you, but for me, my knitting in relation to my mental health, like, they go hand in hand in a lot of different ways. Knitting kind of fills a gap that I need filled in a lot of different, I don't know, scenarios and categories and stuff. Like for instance, lately when I felt like so busy and so overstimulated, knitting has been like a mechanical practice, exercise. I'm not sure. Like I'm not looking at my yarn and I'm not looking at my knitting and I'm not like imagining. I'm not feeling creative, but I am feeling like I need this muscle memory habit in order to get out my nervous energy or my anxious thoughts or whatever. So even though I'm not looking at my stash, or like, I've been looking at Ravelry a lot lately. Wow, I'm having all these epiphanies as I'm talking this out. But I've been looking at Ravelry a lot, and like, I cannot find a pattern that excites me. I cannot find a pattern that, like, I don't know, scratches my brain. Everything looks boring to me. It just, I don't know what it is. I'm just in a weird mood, and nothing is speaking to me. But even in that moment, even in this season where I feel, I don't know, I just feel dull, or like things are dull. Like, I don't know, it doesn't electrify me. But even in this season where that's the case, knitting is fulfilling a need where I am kind of going through the motions to, I don't know, scratch that itch, get that anxious energy out of my body. So sometimes there are seasons where knitting is like like electrified and everything is inspiring and everything is beautiful and everything's exciting and I just can't wait to, you know, play with my yarn. Whereas for whatever reason right now in this season, whether that's just this week or just today or just this month, I don't know. But knitting is not like an imaginative, creative space for me right now. It's more like a habitual life vest, I guess. I'm okay. I don't want you to worry about me. But what I'm saying is like I'm going through the motions right now with knitting, and it's so helpful and I'm so glad that it's there, but it's not like, I don't know. It's not like a creative haven right now. It's like a muscle memory haven. I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but anyway, let me know if you experience that too. I think that maybe more people do than we think, or like, I know that people say a lot on like Instagram isn't real life or social media isn't real life. And you might see people churning out project after project after project and think like, man, I wish that I could, I don't know, churn out projects like that. Or I wish that I was feeling creative like that. Well, I just want to say, I don't feel creative right now. I don't feel excited by my knitting, but I feel taken care of by my knitting. Does that make sense? I don't know, but either way, that's the truth. So all this to say, my field day feels good. It feels like, even if it's not like a space of imaginative, creative playfulness and fun, like, oh, I can't wait to get home and play with my yarn. It's more like I can't wait to get home and stretch that muscle that I need to stretch. I don't know if this is making any sense. I'm sure that it won't to many, but those are my thoughts, whether they make sense or not. And I'm very happy to be working on this field day. It's very special to me to be working with this yarn in particular and to be making something for DJ. So all of those things together, I think, are very beautiful. And those are my project updates. Okay, so let's move on to cast on plans. I just really want to briefly say, I haven't forgotten about the Winter's Beach Cardi. In fact, one of you gifted it to me on Ravelry from my wish list. Thank you so much. I looked at the pattern, I downloaded it, I opened up the file, I looked at it closely, and I thought, this is beyond my ability right now. Because I know that if I cast it on, I'm going to get confused, I'm going to forget where I am. And Leslie was absolutely right. That is not the project for Ireland, because the pattern confused me. And I'll tackle it. I'm going to make this pattern probably when I get home from Ireland is when I'll cast it on. But it's still on my cast on plans, even if it's not yet on my needle. So I wanted to address that. I wanted to bring that up and say I haven't forgotten about it, especially now that I have the pattern in my library. Thank you so much. It will be on my needles, just not right now, because I feel like once I revert back to the feeling, the season of everything is creative, everything is imaginative, everything is inspiring, then I'll cast this on and I'll look at the pattern and I'll be like, oh yeah, piece of cake. Knit, 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 and I have a sweater. Amazing. But now it seems like, I don't know, the oil needs to be changed in my brain or in my imagination center or something. And once that happens, this will be a piece of cake. But if I tried it now, it would just be a slog. So that's on the horizon, but not yet time. Let's move next to the acquisitions section of the podcast. I have a few exciting things to show you, and they're all from Vistaprint. They're from a collaboration that I did with Vistaprint, and they're kind of scattered around, so I'm trying to see if I can find them. But basically, Vistaprint reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to do a collaboration? And I said, yep. So they gave me some store credit to play around with, and I ordered some Rachel is Knitting branded items. So here's what I got. I got 2 Rachel is Knitting pens. Dun, da, da, da. One goes in my Notions pouch, and I haven't figured out where I'll put the second one yet. And the reason I got these, I wasn't really caring to have Rachel's Knitting pens, but they gave me $200 of shop credit, and I was just Like I had a couple bucks to spare and these were like $1 a piece. So that's why I added 2 pens, because as you know, I'm a real bang for my buck kind of girl. And then what else did they give me? Or what else did I order? I have my pile of packing supplies. Like most of this stuff is already packed for Ireland. But that's great because I can show you what else they gave me. Let me untwist it. I'm sure this is a beautiful view that you're seeing of the back of my chair. Okay, here I am. I'm back. I also ordered 2 of these luggage tags. Rachel is knitting luggage tags, and on the back side it has a slot for my name card with all my contact information on it, and it's got this secure metal clasp. So those are cool. I've got 1 on each bag that I'll check. I'm checking 2 bags this year. 1 for my things and 1 for goodie bag things. So we have a lot of goodie bag treasures this year. So I've got pens, I've got luggage tags. I also got, let me go grab it, this tote bag, and it has a zipper, which is not standard for tote bags. So I'm very excited about that. And it's nice and roomy, as tote bags often are. Oh, and look, there's even this inner zipper pocket. So this will be great for like projects and stuff. In fact, maybe I'll bring this to Ireland. But got this Rachel's Knitting branded tote bag, and then a few other bits and bobs. Like I got some temporary tattoos, which turned out to just be like clear stickers for your body. I also got return address labels for my P.O. box. I got some inserts to put in the Ireland goodie bags. So thank you to Vistaprint for partnering with me. I'm really, really pleased with the quality of the things I ordered. Oh, I also ordered a mug that I put a fuchsia flower on. So I'll put a picture here. You can see what that looks like. It's dirty right now. It's in the sink. You don't want to see it in real time. So those are all my acquisitions. I don't think there's anything else to say. Although last week, I don't think I told you during the acquisitions section. I meant to, but I don't think I did. And if I did, and I'm just being redundant, sorry. But I also got a bag of Darby's hair this month. She got groomed. You may see her back there. She doesn't look like, I don't know, a disheveled monster. She's, I don't know, groomed and beautiful now. Anyway, got her groomed, and I had the groomers save her hair, save her clippings in a bag for me. So now I have 2 grooming appointments worth of Darby's hair that will one day be spun into yarn. So subscribe if you want to see that process. Who knows when it will happen. But basically I'm preparing for her death. There it is. She's 10 years old. She's not going to live forever. And I want a keepsake of her because she is my most special baby ever in the world. She's the first dog that I've had that's just mine. She's my baby, Darby O'Gill. Okay, anyway, enough about that. That's it for acquisitions. Lots of stuff from Vistaprint and a bag of Darby's hair. Thrilling. Okay, so let's move on to announcements. Really the only announcement that I have for you this week is that the Ireland trip is coming up soon. So that may impact my video schedule. I may miss an upload. I may not. We'll see how many videos I can get uploaded and ready to go between now and when I leave. But if I don't meet my goal of having regular updates and regular uploads while I'm gone, I know that it will be okay because life goes on, but also the Ireland vlogs will be worth the wait. I'm really excited to share this year's trip with you, so even if you're not able to join us, hopefully you'll be able to relive it a little bit vicariously through us in the content that we share here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and hit that notification bell to be notified of my next upload. Last but not least, head over to Instagram and follow me at Rachel is Knitting if you don't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.